So I really don't like taking my family to the doctor or giving them an over-the-counter medication if I can help it. And I've tried a lot of natural remedies. These 5 are my absolute favorites because they work so well. Hi, I'm Andrea from Morningstar Homestead. I'm a mom of 7 trying to create a natural, healthy home for my family on a budget. Please hit the subscribe button down below to get notified of my future videos. So the first remedy I'm going to tell you about today was called by Hippocrates the medicine cabinet, and for good reason. It has so many uses. Most of you have probably heard of elderberry. I have a super effective way to take elderberry that is a complete game changer and has really helped us knock out so many sicknesses. And not many people take elderberry this way, surprisingly. Elderberry has been shown in a lot of recent studies to be super effective in fighting the flu and the cold. It actually excites your cytokines, which are these proteins that really get your immune system going. And it also helps prevent viruses from entering your cells before they even get there. So before I tell you the super effective way to take elderberry, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was pregnant with my 5th child, and influenza A was making its rounds around our town. People were missing work and school for days, a week, 2 weeks, and my family had caught it. We had been taking elderberry once a day as a tonic, which is how most people take it, I find, like as a syrup or a little bit of the tincture. But we still ended up catching the flu. And my mother-in-law, God bless her, called me up and said, you really need to take elderberry frequently in small doses right at the beginning of the sickness. And if you do this, you will barely get the sickness or not get it at all. I started getting that little tickle in my throat, that ache in my bones, and I took a 1/4 teaspoon of elderberry every 10 minutes for an hour. And after that, I took a 1/4 teaspoon every hour, all through my waking hours. Well, you want to know how long I was sick? I was sick for 1 day, and I wasn't even that sick. I was still up and around, taking care of everyone. I took a little extra nap. I went to bed that night after taking the elderberry throughout the day. The next morning, I woke up and I was fine. In my eyes, it was miraculous, especially seeing that my husband was fevering in bed with a 105-degree fever, and my daughter had been out of school for a week. So now whenever we start to feel a sickness coming on, we are very religious about taking that 1/4 teaspoon of elderberry every 10 minutes for the first hour and every hour after that. And if we miss that, maybe someone's at school or we've run out of elderberry, we really notice the sickness is a little bit worse than if we had taken it properly. And with elderberry, there's another remedy that I love to take. It actually is great because elderberry has kind of gotten a little bit of mistrust from some people. It can kind of make you feel a bit worse because it actually will excite the fever, exciting the cytokines in your body, and it might be a bit too much for people to their immune system just suddenly ramping up like that. So what I like to take with elderberry is my second favorite remedy, and that is echinacea. Now, echinacea is actually from the little purple cone flowers that you see in your nursery section. And echinacea is an immune system regulator. So if you are taking the elderberry, immune system will really just calm things down enough to where you can stand it. Echinacea also has a lot of really great studies behind it. People taking it preventatively had a 58% less chance of catching the cold and flu, and their sickness duration was shortened by a whole 1.5 days. I mean, isn't that great? An extra day and a half that you don't have to be laying in bed and you can be up and doing what you need to be doing. Echinacea actually mobilizes the vitamin C in your system. And for this reason, there's actually a little bit of controversy with echinacea. People say you shouldn't take it long term. This was according to a German study. Others say you can take it as long as you take it with vitamin C for that long term, preventatively. But everybody agrees that you can take it for at least 10 days with no side effects. Like elderberry and really any other herb, Echinacea should be taken in small doses frequently rather than one big dose. This is just how herbs and other natural remedies work. It's not like a pill from the pharmacist that you take one a day and you're good. The small frequent doses make all the difference in the world. If you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button down below so that others can learn about these remedies as well. So the next remedy I'm going to tell you about is actually a supplement, and that supplement is liposomal vitamin C. So I really like this brand of liposomal vitamin C because it has a good flavor. I can get my kids to take it, and more importantly, it's non-GMO. A lot of ascorbic acid that is in vitamin C supplements is made from genetically modified corn. So I really like this one. I believe it's something like 20 bucks. I highly recommend it. And the reason I say liposomal vitamin C and not just regular vitamin C is because regular vitamin C can cause a lot of stomach upset. That is if it's ascorbic acid form, ascorbate, and you just really can't take as much. With the technology for liposomal vitamin C, you can take a lot more and it won't upset your stomach at all. And it really does take those high doses to make a difference when you're sick. I believe the studies I was looking at, people were taking the recommended dose of like maybe a gram, and they only saw an 8% reduction in their rate of catching the cold and flu. The more people took like 6 to 8 grams, they had like, I believe, a 25% reduction, and it shortened the duration of the cold and flu. I like to take a lot more. The reason is vitamin C doesn't actually have a toxic limit. Like vitamin D, vitamin E, all of those, if you take a certain amount, it's toxic in your body. But you will just excrete vitamin C because it's not a fat-soluble vitamin. You're never going to be poisoned by it. So I will take upwards of 10 grams a day. I have found this really useful for sicknesses that have like this persistent cough that doesn't go away. The liposomal vitamin C just knocks it out. So the next remedy I'm going to tell you about is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. It's a potent antiviral, antifungal, prebiotic, and it also is considered to be antidepressant and a good detoxifier. And that remedy is garlic. However, there is a way to supercharge your garlic as well. Just like we supercharge the elderberry, you can supercharge garlic by taking it raw on an empty stomach. And the reason this works so well is because the garlic, it can go straight into your stomach, and there's no food for the bad bacteria that you're trying to kill. There's nothing for them to hide behind, and the good bacteria really feast on it as a prebiotic. It's definitely really effective. I've started doing this this past month, and I've really noticed a difference. But you say, I don't want to smell like spaghetti all day, or maybe your spouse objects to that. And so here's a couple ways to help you take garlic. First off, you could still try to take it orally, but after you crush it or chop it, let it sit on the counter for a couple minutes. There's some really good enzymes in garlic that help to start digesting it. And when I do this, I notice a huge difference. I don't have garlic breath really, and there's not like that spicy aftertaste. The other thing that you can do is you can make a garlic oil that's going to go on your skin. And I absolutely love this for little kids. And the way you do that is you chop or crush some garlic, stick it in a bowl with some olive oil, coconut oil, whatever oil you like, and put it over a pot of boiling water, make a type of double boiler. And you take this oil, you strain the garlic out or keep it in, it doesn't really matter. And I like to put it on my kids' feet and put on a nasty pair of socks. They go to bed. Generally, this garlic will like break up any congestion, and it will really get them feeling better by the next morning. Test it with your little babies, of course. Babies have such sensitive skin. I've never had an issue, but I've heard of people having an issue with garlic oil for their very young babies. And there's another great thing you can do with this garlic oil, and that is use it for ear infections. This has literally saved us hundreds of dollars. I have not used antibiotics on my kids for, I believe, 12 years now. And the reason for this is the garlic oil. So if you or your child has an ear infection, take a little of the garlic oil I mentioned before, pour it in that infected ear and put a cotton swab in. Sit there for a little bit. That garlic oil will just kind of seep down into the ear canal, really soothe it, and it will kill whatever is inflaming that ear canal. definitely try the garlic oil if you can't stomach the raw garlic. It's so cheap and it's so effective. I believe everyone should be using garlic every day. And the last remedy that I'm going to tell you about, last but not least, is vitamin D3. Right here I have a vitamin D3 that's combined with K2 because K2 helps with the absorption of vitamin D3. So that's great if you can find one of those. But if you find just plain old vitamin D3, it's still going to do you a lot of good. Vitamin D3 is basically like the general of your immune system, like your T cells, your B cells, the phagocytes, anything that is part of your immune system, vitamin D plays a very crucial role. And I want to tell you that a lot of people probably are not taking enough vitamin D. I've seen a lot of estimates as to how much of the population is deficient, anywhere between 24 to 75%. And this really goes up in the wintertime because we don't have as much sunlight. I mean, the height of cold and flu season is January, the darkest time of the year. That's not a coincidence. But how much vitamin D should you be taking? I'm going to link a video down below from an expert on how much vitamin D he thinks you should be taking. I'm going to kind of condense that a little bit if you don't want to watch the video. I believe that kind of standard procedure, I know the Vitamin D Council recommends about 2,000 IUs a day. But this doesn't really make sense because the recommended level of vitamin D3 in your blood is 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. And if you convert this to IUs or micrograms, that comes out to 8,000 or 9,000 micrograms just to get enough vitamin D in the 5 liters of blood that's flowing through your body. So the expert down below recommends as many as 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 because you don't always absorb all the supplements you take. So I've been experimenting with this year. I haven't been sick yet. The rest of my family has. I haven't been giving them as much of the vitamin D3. I think I'm a believer. I think I'm going to up everyone's doses of their vitamin D. So there you have it, our family's favorite tried and true remedies for cold and flu season. If you found this video interesting, you'll probably like my video on allergy remedies.